Hello, greetings to everyone and welcome to Acadex TV. Welcome to today's video and welcome to Acadex Higher Professional Institute. Today in this video, we are going to be looking at the upcoming Treasury and Customs Concours that have been scheduled for the 14th and 15th of October respectively. So in preparation for this concours, do well to subscribe to this YouTube channel because tutorials related to this exam shall be uploaded to this channel non-stop and you shall find the videos very helpful. Subscribe and turn on your notification. You shall be notified therefore when I upload subsequent videos, so you come and watch. Before we get started, I'll take you to Sepefan Training Center.
Oh, chantez là-bas. Ouais, mais c'est pas pourquoi.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from Sepefan Military Training Center. Like I said already, we're going to see how to solve part 2 of part 1 has been done already, and now we are in part 2, which concerns geometric activities. So right now, get ready with your pen and your notebook where you'll be solving and comparing your solutions with mine so as to correct yourself. Or in case you need assistance or anything you don't understand, drop it in the comment section and I'll respond to you as soon as possible. Also, you can write me on WhatsApp and I'll reply to you, if not instantly, then anytime I'm online. Alright, the question reads: a plane is equipped with an autonomous reference OIG. We give the points A, B, C and D. Alright, now it is important to underline this phrase, autonomous reference. What is the meaning of autonomous reference? Because autonomous reference is translated from the French term, which Anglophones are not versed with. So now, this simply means that we can draw the points on a Cartesian plane. Let me get a pointer. Alright, it simply means that we can draw the points on a Cartesian plane such that on a Cartesian plane which are orthonormal, which are perpendicular. So now this is a reference frame which has two axes, the I-axis and the J-axis, or the X-axis and the Y-axis, and O is the origin. So now we give the following points. A says calculate the midpoint of the line segment AB. So in A, let's calculate the midpoint of the line segment AB. Now what is a line segment? Anytime you see a line written in this closed bracket, square bracket, then it means a line segment. This line segment runs from A to B. But remember, if it was a line, then we are not going to have this square bracket, meaning that it actually has no end. but a line segment has a start and an end. Alright, we'll proceed. How do we find the midpoint of a line segment? The midpoint of a line segment is given by the formula displayed on your screen right now. x1 plus x2 on 2, then y1 plus y2 on 2. So now we are talking about the midpoint of the line segment AB. AB, this is the point A, and this is the point B. In the point A, we have the first coordinate, which is known as the x coordinate, and the second, which is the y coordinate. So right now we are going to give it the name x1, y1, x2, and y2. So that way we are simply going to fit it into the formula. So the midpoint is going to be -6 plus 4 divided by 2, then 0 plus 6 divided by 2. It gives us -1 and 3 as the midpoint of the line segment or AB. Then we call it K. As per the question said calculate the midpoint K of the line segment AB. So the midpoint of the line segment AB is given as K. Alright, so that's the end of the solution to the A part of this problem. Now we proceed to the B. B says let's calculate the midpoint of the line segment BC. So we are actually going to do almost the same thing that we did for the line segment AB, but just that we're going to use the points B and C in this case. With the same formula, the midpoint of the line segment BC, which we are going to call L, is 4 plus 6 on 2. BC, 4 plus 6 on 2, then 6 plus 4 on 2. This gives us the point 5, 5. So L is equal to 5, 5, and L is equal to the midpoint of the line segment BC. We proceed. Now we give n 1, -3. Let's calculate the coordinate of the vectors KL and KN. Alright, we need to know that as per vectors, our knowledge in vectors, KL is equal to OL minus OK. Just know that KL is given by OL minus OK, because for instance we know that AB is equal to OB minus OA. That is one of the operation basics of vectors. So we are simply going to take L minus K, and we are given, or we calculated L as 5, 5. So we are going to put in the form of vector 5, 5 minus K. K was what? -1, 3. -1, 3, and we are subtracting. How do we subtract this? 5 minus -1, it gives us 5 plus 1, which is 6. 5 minus 3, it gives us 2. So now KL as a vector is equal to 6, 2, which is the same as 6i plus 2j. Similarly, we can also find the vector Kn, which is On minus Ok. And doing the same thing we did for KL, we are going to have that Kn is equal to 1, -3 for n, where this is n, 1, -3, then minus OK, which is -1, 3. Now how do we do this? 1 minus -1, which is 2, and then -3 minus 3, which is -6. So we have 2i minus 6j. So this is the end of the solution to the C part of this problem. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to continue with Z. But before that, it is important to recall what we did in the previous slides. Remember, we had that KL is 6i plus 2j, KN is 2i minus 6j. The points A, B, C, and D were given to us. We calculated K. We calculated K, the midpoint of line segment AB, L, the midpoint of line segment BC, and N was given to us. So we are going to use these points and these vectors to continue our solution in D. That's why it's important to recall, so you know where the points are coming from. So let's proceed with the solution of D. D says, show that KL and KN are orthogonal. Now, it is important to first of all know what are orthogonal vectors. What's the meaning of, because KL is a vector and KN is a vector. How do we know that they are vectors? We calculated them as vectors, and even in the equation they were given to us with these arrows above indicating their direction, so they are vectors. Now, what are orthogonal vectors? It means the angle between these vectors is 90 degrees. It means the two vectors KL and KN are perpendicular to each other. So the French word for perpendicular is orthogonal, and that's what you see on the question paper. So I now define orthogonal vectors are vectors that are perpendicular to each other. So now, if vectors are orthogonal, it means the dot product of the vectors give you 0, because the dot product of two vectors, say A dot B is equal to A magnitude B magnitude sine theta. So now in this case we are going to have in fact we have that the dot product of any orthogonal vector or any two perpendicular vector will give you 0. So KL dot KN must be equal to 0. And then therefore we are going to write the KL back as as we had it before, 6i plus 2j, and we are going to write it as a column vector, 6i plus 2j, and we're also going to write kn, which is 2 minus 6, 2 and negative 6. Alright, so the dot product of two vectors, you simply multiply what is 6 times 2, then plus 2 times negative 6. This gives us 12 minus 12, which is equal to 0. So now we have calculated KL dot KN, and we have that it is equal to 0. We are free to conclude that the two vectors KL and KN are orthogonal. Hence, KL and KN are orthogonal. He says, let's calculate the coordinate of M, image of N, by the transformation of the vector KL. So what is the meaning of this? This is transformation. It means that M is the image of N under the transformation of vector KL. So we can write it like this. It means the vector KL transforms the point N to a certain point M, and we're looking for that M. So we are simply going to multiply, or we are going to look for the image of N under this transformation vector, and it's going to give us M. Therefore, M is the image Alright, like I was saying, M is the image, which is the transformation of this point under this transformation vector. So we are simply going to multiply 2 times 1 plus 2 times negative 3. So 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. It gives us negative 4 here. And then negative 6 times 1 is negative 6, and negative 6 times negative 3 is positive 18. Now negative 6 plus 18 gives us 12. Therefore the point M is negative 4, 12. Now let's show that KLMN is a square. This is the last question for the year 2013. Let's show that KLMN is a square. Now let us define what a square is. Let us define they have just asked us to show that KLMN is a square. We know what a square is. A square is a quadrilateral that has 4 equal sides. So the 4 sides of a quadrilateral must be equal for it to form a square. And then now the opposite sides must be parallel to each other for it to form a square. So defining a square, we know that it has 4 sides. It's a quadrilateral. It has 4 sides, and then all the 4 sides are equal. And in as much as all the 4 sides are equal, the opposite sides are actually parallel to each other. So now this is, we can draw this as the shape of a square, and then we are going to label it K here, N, L, M. Alright, because these are the points that they told us that forms a square. So this is the square that can be drawn. I'm just drawing it for the sake of explanation for everyone to understand. Alright, so if this forms a square, it means that this side KL is the same as LM, which is equal to MN and also equal to NK or KN. Alright, so we have to first of all show, we're going to show that they are equal. And then what about being parallel? We know that if these two lines are parallel to each other, and then I mean KL and NM, they are parallel, then LM and KN are parallel, then the angle between KL and KN is going to be 90 degrees. What do I mean? KL and KN are they are orthogonal. They have to be orthogonal. But now I remember that in D we already saw for that. In D we already shown that KL and KN are orthogonal, so we are free to place an angle of 90 degrees here. KL, the angle between KL and what KN is here, and this angle is 90 degrees because these two vectors are orthogonal. Then now the next thing we have to show is the equality of the sign, and if the sides are equal, we are free to conclude that these 4 points form a square. Now the distance between any 2 points is given by this formula on your screen now. So we can use this formula to find the distance between any 2 points here, and we compare to see that the distance between K and N, the distance between K and N and M, distance between L and N and M and N are actually the same. And then we are free now to conclude that these 4 points form a square. But there is another easier way to go by. So we are going to, in fact there are many ways to answer. There are many ways to complete the solution here at this point. We can do this. We can simply use the magnitude of the vector KL and KN. Let me explain what I'm saying. KL is given as the vector 6i plus 2j, meanwhile KN is 2i minus 6j. So since we already had this vector, it is going to be a lot of work if we go back to start from the equation, the distance between 2 points to calculate this. But we already have the vector KL and KN, and this is KL. The magnitude of this vector will give us the length or the distance from K to L. So let us do that. We know how to find the magnitude of a vector. We simply square this, and we take the square root. That means we square 6 and we square 2 and we take the square root. This gives us 6 times 6 is 36, 2 times 2 is 4. 36 plus 4 is 40. And this can be written as 2 root 10. Voila. Alright. All the same, Kn is 2i minus 6j, and if we want to get the magnitude, you can notice here I've not put any arrow again because I'm looking for the magnitude. There's a difference between this KL and this KL. The difference is that KL here is a vector, meanwhile KL here is the magnitude of the vector KL. So now I see that KL is equal to KN. They are equal because KL gives me 2 root 10 and Kn gives me 2 root 10. So since KL is equal to Kn, and then KL and KN, they are orthogonal, then I am free to conclude that these 4 points here form a square. Therefore, KLMN is a square. Like I said at the beginning of the video, you can get in touch with Acadex through this number. If you are facing challenges in preparing, you need tutorials or so. Number 1, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Number 2, you can get in touch via this contact. Number 3, you can comment. You can drop your comments